To our vets, thank you.
Today's veterinarian visit on KCRG TV9 is brought to you by Emergency Veterinary Service of Iowa City.
And thanks for keeping it here on TV9 this midday. We are taking your questions now for veterinarian Ryan Steen. If you've got a question, 365-9999 is the number to call. And we're going to get started with Ron, who's on the line with a question.
Hi, Doctor. I have an 18-year-old Maine Coon cat, and for the last 3 years or so, he has been steadily losing weight. He's now down to, I would say, a third of what his highest weight was. And I was wondering, we've tried every test, we've tried prescription food for him, and nothing has worked. Is there any other solution you can think of?
Well, that's a tough one. Sounds like it's a major issue. And he mentioned they've tried every test. These are probably some of the things that have already been tried. But kidney disease is a common problem in older cats. I'm certain that'd be one of the first things that was checked. Also, thyroid problems. That's a pretty common symptom of hyperthyroidism, and that would be a blood test that would check that. And that would be one of the most common causes of weight loss in an older cat. Assuming that that's already been checked, which it probably has. The only other thing that I could think of would be something like an inflammatory bowel disease. Sometimes cats, usually we think of diarrhea or vomiting with inflammatory bowel disease, but sometimes it can just be weight loss can be the only symptom. And blood tests are not particularly good for that. There is a test that can be sent to Texas A&M that can tell a little bit, but sometimes it requires all-out biopsy in order to get that. And that can be done endoscopically through a camera, or sometimes as a surgical exploration. So you may be kind of reaching a crossroads where you're going to have to either do something more invasive than blood work, you know, where that may only be the only option.
Right. Kind of nerve-wracking to not know what the problem is.
Yeah, and it's difficult to make, you know, to make any recommendations without a diagnosis. Diagnosis is key, and it sounds like they've been trying. And this is the, you know, the challenge with medicine sometimes is it doesn't cooperate, you know, and they're not always easy.
Less than a minute to go, and Danielle's on the line with a question. Go ahead, Danielle.
Yeah, I have a couple of teacup min pins. They're small Doberman pinchers that like to eat grasshoppers out in the field. But it seems like it's making one of them sick, but not the other.
Not a good habit, but a tough one to break, because it's not as if you can eliminate grasshoppers from their environment.
Right.
It's probably just a bad habit, not a deficiency in the diet or anything like that. And so, you know, if you gave them some negative type of response when they do that, a squirt of water, that kind of thing, it might break the habit. Probably the most important thing is trying to be certain that we got them on a good heartworm preventative. Not that you get heartworms from grasshoppers, but intestinal parasites and things of that nature. If they're eating that, they're eating lots of things. And so having them on a monthly heartworm preventative to prevent intestinal parasites is really important. And then just trying to deter them when they have that behavior so that they start to pick up the idea that that's not a desirable thing.
I wouldn't think it would taste good, but dogs eat a lot of crazy things.
That's right.
So, all right, well, Dr. Steen, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
And coming up tomorrow, our financial expert will have some tips on holiday money management. Stay with us here on your 24-hour news source, KCRG TV 9.
Wow.